Hey guys, how's it going? Preparing here. So today I want to talk about which monster power should you be playing on when playing Diablo 3. Most of the people, you guys have seen the monster power chart that was posted when this shit came out. And you look at that and you go, maybe I'll try monster power 5, and then, you find it a little bit easy, you can still stay alive, and then you do 6 and maybe 7, and you're like, okay, I guess I can do 7, I guess this is where I'll sit. Or some of you just go for the feel. But sometimes you can go just for a feeling, see how it goes. If you like it, that's good. But at other times, we're going to analyze the situations. That's what we're going to do today. So in the background is a run on hardcore. On hardcore right now, with our self-found characters, we're trying to farm some keys. And in doing so, we have to pick a monster power. Now, there's two situations where people pick monster power. It's for grinding experience and items, and secondly, farming the keys. The first case I can answer for you right away. If you want the most experience and the most drops per time invested, you're going to play on a very low monster power, most likely 0. If your gear is really good, maybe you can step it up as high as like 5, but after that, the returns are really not worth it. I'll post you guys the chart here. This is the modified monster power chart. I know the damage values are the old one, but who cares? The mobs don't really do enough damage to merit anything for the most part. So one thing that I've added is the relative HP. Because when you look at the monster power, you see, oh, MP 150% of the normal, and 225, it's kind of funky. So I just did some quick math for you guys. So with this information, you can see that, if you're actually sitting there attacking mobs, if you move on to the next monster power, it's going to take that much more time to kill the mobs. But the other situation is, there's time spent in running around doing like nothing, finding the mobs, and like IDing items and stuff. So there's a lot of time that is steady. It doesn't change if you increase the monster power. It does a little bit in some cases if you're playing hardcore in terms of safety, but for the most part it does not. So the run in the background, what I've done is I've analyzed it and I've broken it down into certain times so I can see how efficient it is to farm keys on this monster power, or should we step it up some. So I made this chart for you guys, and obviously the results are there, but let me explain so you guys can understand, and you guys can perhaps use this kind of method to examine your situation and see what monster power you want to play on as well. So the total time of this run was 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Let me just check that here. Yeah, that is correct. And out of that, I pretty much went through the footage and saw all the moments where we were running and all the moments that we were killing stuff. And obviously there's some margin of error because there's cases where you attack the mob and run around some and attack the mob some more. So obviously it's a little bit inaccurate, but it gives a pretty good idea nonetheless, in my opinion. And that time equated to 4 minutes and 45 seconds of running around and IDing items, shit like that. And the kill time was 9 minutes 35 seconds. And the drop rate, because we were playing on monster power 3, was 30%. So if we were going to step it up to the next monster power, going back to the chart, going from MP3 to MP4 is a 40% increase in HP, while the running time is the same. You run at the same speed regardless of whatever monster power you're playing on. The kill time is going to be increased. It's usually going to be a little bit more than the advertised percentage because of the damage difference and because of a few other factors when it comes to like bursting abilities. But for this case, because it's already like a little bit inaccurate and it's already like they don't really do that much damage and we don't really have that many cooldowns, so for our team it's pretty appropriate. And I just increased the kill time by 40%. And obviously we already know the drop. The drop on MP4 is another bonus 10%, so it becomes 40%. So the difference is it takes 27% more time invested for a 33% higher drop. Now if this was softcore, those are really close odds, and I might take it. But because it's hardcore, because you do take a little bit more damage, and because certain champs pose a bigger risk the longer they're alive, such as like Arcane and Waller and shit like that, then I feel like MP3 is very appropriate for our team at this time. But while these calculations show the marginal difference, so more or less we should be around where we're at, where the next monster power gives us a very small benefit or a very small loss. That means we're sitting in a very appropriate monster power for the kind of gear, for the kind of composition that we have. But in some cases, as you can see, if you want to compare something like this to like MP0 versus MP1, you know, the drop rate difference is doubled because you go from 5% to 10%. And the mob HP is plus 50%. So there's no question it's better. Then you go to MP2, the drop rate is doubled again. You go from 10 to 20. And the HP difference, also plus 50%. So that's definitely worth it. But when it comes to, you know, the extreme case, going from MP9 to MP10, the relative drop difference is very small. The relative drop difference is like 11% higher drop, while the mobs have 40% more life. And in that case, you know, you can farm MP10 if you like to, you know, post on some forums, brag to your friends, like, yeah, I'm an MP10 barbar, no problem. You guys are noobs sitting at MP8. What a bunch of scrubs, you know. Not really the most intelligent thing to say, because as I've shown you, you're really wasting your own time if you're playing the game on that level. But in the end, it's Diablo. Do whatever you want. And hopefully I've at least brought some additional insight to the time you invest in this particular game. See you guys tomorrow. I got a manticore.
Really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
No, sorry, that's a Hellwreck.
What?
I really thought it was a manticore, I'm sorry.
Fuck you.